Civic on the ramp now to do the final spanner check before the track. Got the side skirts bolted on, which are replicas of some other side skirt because they did not fit very well at all, but they're on. Got the token sticker. So it's starting to look like the Panda AE86 on the initial D, which is, I quite like it. I think it looks quite smart. So I've got the wing mirrors to stick on, harnesses to stick on. So yeah, final spanner check for the engine bay. We may put it on the dyno if we can find some wheels and tyres for it. I don't really want to run the AR1s on the front. AR1s are probably a little bit sticky for the dyno, and they're obviously brand new, not even scrubbed in yet. At Brands Hatch for the track day. Just got the car off, seems to be all right. Ed already damaged the car. Getting it on the trailer, good fucking job. Sighting lap over. Edge driving was absolutely horrendous. Even on the sighting lap, I was physically scared for my life, and I've been in a lot of cars. But everything seems to be okay. Just done the oil levels, tyre temps, check the tyre, like wheel nuts. Looking good. We'll go out for another few laps. Got to scrub the tyres in yet, obviously, as they're fairly new. Running, I think, 27 PSI at the minute. But we will lower that down, so we've got hots of 28 later on, probably a little bit lower than that maybe. Just been out myself for a drive, and the front steering is horrendous. Definitely some movement of some sort going on. Alright, so I've just been out in the car with Ed. So just quick voiceover, this is a 1.3 DX and didn't come with an anti-roll bar as standard, and we still haven't got one on the front for this test. With the rack being behind the subframe, it's going to tow out basically on compression. Although we've got bump steer correction, it's still going to do it. So what's happening here is, so under large amounts of compression from coming up Paddock Hill Bend, we're basically getting such an aggressive amount of suspension movement that the front is actually towing out quite aggressively, and it's shifting the car across the track probably about a metre. I'm not going to lie, it's quite savage. So the Honda Civic is back in the workshop. He's had it a few months. We did go to the track once and we had a good few issues. The anti-roll bar being missing at the front, put too much load on the suspension, too much weight shift. This damper, this side, is squelching when you bounce on it, so it's pretty much the damper's probably gone. So we've got new suspension for it, and quality suspension. I'm also going to do an oil service. I think there's about 8 litres in this because of the AccuSump and the lines and things. I'm going to check how much is in the catch can, have a quick scoot around the engine, make sure I don't see any issues. So Miller's 1050 going in, and then we've also got the K-Tune short shifter going in. I think it's either an eBay shifter in there or potentially a stock shifter, but it's pretty terrible and pretty far away from the hand, so you know, it makes you kind of tweak the steering wheel every time you change gear. It's such a reach. So hopefully you can hear this, but this is BC coilovers. They've done, I think, 1 track day only, but possibly 2, and literally just sat on the car. So that is pretty shocking. Basically brand new suspension. The suspension going into the Civic now is going to be Quantums. You've got the helper springs, single adjustment, although these have actually got a set adjustment. So we'll actually check the full bump, make sure we've got the clearance. Nice small bump stop in there. We've got the laser etched iron Motorsport in the bottom clevis. So these are actually 2 zeros, so they're 2-way adjustable. So up the top here, we've got rebound and bump. Now this is slow speed adjustment only. So the high speed adjustment is a shim pack that's inside. If you did want to have that changed, you'd have to send them back to Quantum, and then they could shim them differently depending on your needs. So spring rate wise, we've got 775 on the front, pounds per inch, and 550 on the rears. That works out to about 14 kilos on the front and about 10 kilos on the rear, I think, give or take around there. Hopefully that will stiffen up because we're running 8.6, I think. We're either running 8.6 or 10.6. I'll find out when I rip them out. They're a little bit soft for the track. We're also going to be running a front anti-roll bar finally, as this was a 1.3 SI, this car, or something like that. We've stolen the front anti-roll bar off an Integra Type R. Quantums are on, just got it down onto the ground, and I've set the ride height roughly where it was before. I'm not too concerned because I'm going to be doing corner weighting geometry, everything. So I'm going to let it settle over lunch. Obviously it won't settle too much. They're 14 kilo springs roughly, so it's going to take probably a good few weeks or a track day at least to get the springs settled, so it'll need to be all redone. So while you're setting the car up, it's much better to have it softer so you can bounce the suspension and everything will settle to where it's supposed to, other than sitting on the damper pressure. So when we come back, we're just going to check the damper range to make sure we've got as close to 2/3 on compression and 1/3 on droop. So I've just got the car back up in the air and we're going to be doing damper travel now. Now the idea is to get 1/3 of the damper travel on droop and 2/3 of that damper travel on compression. So if you're running bump stops, an easy way to do it is to basically push the bump stop all the way to the bottom of the damper, place the car at its ride height, so just drop it down, you know, so it's sitting on its suspension, you've already set the ride height, and that bump stop should drag up the piston on the damper and stay there. And in this case, that is exactly what it's doing, which then allows me to see how much droop I've got versus how much compression I've got left in the damper. So you can see there, that's the bump stop itself. These are just round ones. Obviously you can get different ones to do different things, soft and hard. It depends if you're running aero or not, but if you just push that all the way down, that will lock down, no problem at all. And then once you lower the car, it'll push this up and hopefully stay where it is on the damper. So just after dropping the car down, I've just jacked it back up again, and you can see on this side that we've probably got about 1 inch of droop and maybe something like 2.5 inches of compression up there. It's a bit hard to see on this camera at this angle. There's about 2.5 inches of compression. Thanks for watching, guys. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more videos, subscribe, hit that bell and get the notifications. You can also check us out on Facebook. The link's going to be in the description. Thanks for watching and we'll see you soon.